man who became a monster.
Dig this. Dig this.
Man, a man can't do nothing no more.
Dig. Dig.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. Now, as you can see by the second clip, I've been watching two videos by a guy who goes by the name of The New Black Pill. Now, I have a question to ask, which is in reaction to this video, the videos I've watched, because there was a common thread that kept on coming up with these two videos. And I've asked this question before, and I haven't really had a straight answer, an actual answer to this question. However, but before I ask my question, I want to set up my stall. So I'm going to give a short monologue, if I may. Okay, now, in both those videos, the guy gave a description of his attraction status as a normie. And if you don't know what a normie means, you have to watch the video in question. I'll leave the link in the description box for you to watch. But I'm sure most of you watching understand the difference between a normie and a Chad, etc. and incel, yada, yada, yada. Okay, right. So let's move on. So he gave a description of himself, and he gave his lifestyle, or his dating, a brief summary of his dating experience. Right, so I'm going to do that to myself, but I'm going to do it in two parts. Now, currently, now, I'm 58 years old. So, but I don't really want to focus on my age now, and I don't want to focus on my status now, because most of you are youngsters. So let's base my dating experience 20 odd years ago, in my late 30s or even mid 30s. Okay, so let's go that. Okay, so I'm going to give myself a very unusual name, a very unusual status. I'm going to call myself a low-end, extraordinary normie. Now, why do I say low-end? Low-end because facially, I don't class myself as classically good-looking. Now, if I had to rate my face in terms of the eyes of women, which that really counts. The women's opinions counts. I mean, I don't really care what men's got to say about my face. It's the women that I care about. So in the eyes of the average woman, I would rank myself between a 3 and a 5 out of 10, all depending on the woman's taste and her ethnicity and what she likes. Because if a woman doesn't like black guys, doesn't matter. I could be a friggin' Tyrone, she'll still see me as a 2 out of 10. You catch my drift. So that's why, again, it all depends on the woman's taste. So, in the eyes of a woman, I would guess, on average, I'd between a 3 and a 5 out of 10. Okay, right. Physically, if we go back 20 years ago, in the world of health and fitness, my physique would come in around a 7 out of 10. And also if I was not just health and fitness, if I was the average, compared to the average guy, I would come in around the 7 out of 10. If I was to rate my body now, at 58 years old, if I was to take my top off now, along with my physical ability, then that would go up. That would go up a couple of notches to a 8 or a 9 out of 10. Because I'm even now at 58, I tell you now, without a brag, I'm physically fitter than the average man, and I could prove that anytime you like. I know, right? So, with that. So, but we're not talking about now. We're talking about 20 odd years ago. My income has always been average, and what makes me extraordinary, I've last 20 odd years, I've lived a life as a pro dancer, as a side hustle. So that puts me in the extraordinary category, which Okay, so I'm gonna make reference to all of that in a minute. Right. So now you know my backstory. Let's get to the question. My question is, what is the big deal? What is the big aspiration? What is the big pursuit that a lot of you young guys have with getting a stunner, bad B, an 8, 9, 10 out of 10? Now, before you answer the question, let me just make myself clear. I admire beauty just as much as the next man. And I'm not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't be attracted to. If that's your thing and that thing makes you happy, I am happy for you. Knock yourself out. Go for what you want. Yeah, it's your life. You must get what you can in this life, and I'm happy for you. But I still don't understand the big fascination of getting a stunner. Like I said, I'm attracted to. I mean, like I said, I admire beauty just as much as any other man. But I'll come to myself in a second. But I don't see what is the big plus that you're getting if you have a stunner. I'm not saying don't get a stunner. I'm not saying that, but I want you to please explain what is the big plus, apart from an ego boost and public image. Now, if the answer is, and if you're genuinely, and you're not bullshitting, if the answer is that 8, 9 out of 10 is the only type of woman that truly turns you on, she gets you rock hard when you see her, then that's fair enough. That's totally understandable. I get that. Then if that's the only type of woman that really gets you going, regardless of anything else, that's what turns you on, then yeah, I get it. Now let's come to me. I've always been attracted to the normie chick, the average pretty girl next door. What turns me on is I like them thick set. I like them on the chunky side. You give me a big ass and chunky thighs with a cute pretty girl next door face. That's me done. And big boobs. You know, because I don't want to get too graphic. But that's my bad B. That's my stunner. And like I said, when I see chunky thighs and a big ass, it turns me on. There's nothing I can do about it. That's the way, regardless of my six pack, regardless of my pec, regardless how fit I am, that is how my sex drive is wired. Whether I am broke, whether I have millions, a thick, voluptuous chick is what turns me on, and I can't do anything about that. Nothing I can do about that. So, yeah. So, in terms of getting a bad B, I don't really give a shit what you think of the chicks that I go for, because without being too crass and being too graphic, I'm going to say it. When I'm getting my dick sucked, or when I have my head deep in between a pair of thick thighs, trust me, you are the last person I'm thinking about, really. So I really don't give a shit. But still, I would like to know what's the big aspiration, what's the big pursuit with getting a stunner? And like I said, this is not criticism. I just want to know, because it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. When I was watching that video, he said, oh, you know, I never got a stunner, or I could never get a stunner, or all I could get was maybe 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. I'm thinking, yeah, and okay, so let's say you did get the 9 out of 10, and what exactly? What have you gained? What have you gained? Now, someone did say, one guy did say, the chances of having better looking children is higher. And I think, well, not necessarily. That just because you have a child with a hot woman, there's no guarantee that your kids are going to come out hot. It really, nature doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. 'Cause like, okay, all my kids are good looking, but I don't want to I was going to be unfair to them to put their picture up on social media. Both my sons have been told are extremely handsome, and my youngest son, he's definitely going to be doing some modeling. He's a Chad and he doesn't know it, but his mum, she's no 8, 9 out of 10. I can tell you that. I can tell that for a fact. But that's as far as I'm going to go with that. So there you go. So where else I was going to say now? I think that's about it. Yeah. So that's the question. That's the question. Maybe it's a generational thing, because as stated in the introduction, I'm an old man in a van, and I don't know, or maybe I'm just weird. Maybe I'm just a one-off. Maybe I'm just a guy that's not like every other guy. I don't know, but you tell me. So the question is, what is the big pursuit? What's the big deal with getting hold of a bad bee, a stunner, a 8, 9 out of 10? What's the big plus? What's the big wow? What's the big wow? You know, because like that's another thing I want to mention. In the video, he said that a Chad he was friends with, the body count was 55, and he said that the Chad said that he said it with no effort, and to him the number 55 it implied it was a bit of a big deal, the body count of 55. Now, listen, I've said this before, and I've stated this in my audiobook that I've published. I've published an audiobook, Tales from Little Black Book, One Man's Journey on the Dating Scene, available on Rakuten Kobo. I tell you this now, with my low-end, extraordinary normie face and my physique, my body count is way higher than 50. I could tell it's way higher than 55. And it was way higher than 55 20 years ago. Trust me on that one. And the guys I've worked with in the industry as a pro dancer, 55 for some of the Chads and Tyrones I work, they could rack that up in months. And, you know, I've done swingers parties. I've done fetish parties. Like I said before in previous videos, and like I've stated in my audiobook, I have seen a wilder sex life than the average man will ever see, right? And in the world of the fast lane, my actions, my life would just about make a blip on the radar. I'm just a grain of sand in the world of fast lane, and my body count is way higher than 55. So if 55 is a wow to you, trust me, you haven't even got through the door yet in terms of if you think that's wild style. But however, let me say something. To be honest with you, having said all of that, if I had the choice, if I had to start everything all over again, and I had the choice, I would prefer to have met just one woman, which would be the love of my life. I'd rather just go through my whole life and just had maybe 1 or maybe even 5 fantastic women than the numbers that I've had. I would swap that. I would swap just one or a very few. Just don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the fun that I had, but preference, I would have preferred to meet the right woman, got married, and do everything the traditional. I would have preferred that than the lifestyle that I have led. I say this in my audiobook. So I don't want to inspire a crazy fast lane lifestyle to any youngsters who's watching who thinks that's the sort of life you must aspire to have. No, I would actually say better for you to find one good woman to make a really good life with and go down that route than to go down the road that I have been, to be honest with you. Not saying that I'm full of regret, because I'm not really, to be honest with you, but I would prefer to go down the other road, to be honest with you. So this is my advice from old man to your youngsters. Better to get one good woman if you can than 1,000 good times. That's my opinion. There we go. Right. So thank you very much. And once again, I thank all of you who take the time to stop by and watch my my little channel. Thank you very much, and don't forget to answer the question. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, guys. Bye. I've had a brainwave. Actually, I will upload the photos of my children, but how they used to look when they were little children. Starting off with my oldest, my daughter first.
Welcome to the Tales from the Little Black Book, one man's journey on the dating scene. Make yourselves comfortable, strap yourselves in, for this journey will have twists and turns, bumps and lumps, turbulence and joyrides. For the most part, I'm just an ordinary man, but the journey I've been on is anything but ordinary.